Part 3, Archetypes. This is the third part of the series, Who and What Are the Gods? If you're new to my videos, hi, I'm Nicole, I'm an astral coach and an interactive artist. In my art, I share unique stories I learned from my energy that sometimes have to do with Earth, or at least it's a co-creation between Earth and somewhere else. In my astral coaching and mentorship, I work on helping you find out about your energy and how to interact or learn about what you're interacting with that's not your energy. I act as a resource and a guide, which is based on what you're up to and what your interests are. Now, I've chosen the word archetype because when I'm channeling in meditation, there are certain words that I think resonate better with explanations. But this does not invalidate all the other ways that people use the word archetypes. This is just the word I've chosen to describe this aspect of gods and how they work and stuff like that. So make sure you watch the other previous 2 videos. I'm going to link them below. And it's very important to know those first, because when you understand those, then the lingo that I'm going to use is going to perhaps make more sense. And when I share this information with people, this information is meant to inspire you to look into these things. It doesn't mean that it is supposed to be like what it is. It's just to inspire you and to know. Think of it like me giving you a silver platter of options and ideas, and you take the ones that are interesting and incorporate them in your life. So if I could think of one word to describe archetypes, it would be trends. Things that are quick trends that have a shelf life. They're very human. They are not as spiritual as you think. They are for human things that we love. They're not for thinking outside the box or going beyond Earth. As discussed in the other videos, gods have a job role to help with a lot of things, and they are the middleman to the original energy. And you can think of the gods that people know with all the job roles as the bosses of basically the archetypes. And the way that they behave as bosses is not like they're in control of it, because the humans are in control of it. What they are in control of is how much energy to distribute. Another thing is that sometimes when they can see that the humans need something and the archetype that they are utilizing is not as applicable, they will start to find certain beings that I'll discuss a tiny bit in a second to help facilitate the old ways and the ways that were working that greatly reflected the original energies in the first place. Even though Aphrodite's next in one of my other series, she said that we can use her as an example because she is in this mode at the moment. Venus doesn't have that big of a problem with it, and Venus has given quite a bit towards the archetype. So in a way, instead of calling them a boss, we can change it to a mentor or someone who is giving kind of charity or some kind of support so that they can do what they do. Another reason why this happens is people are going back to these gods that were made together with the people of a certain country. So the reason why there is a Venus and there is an Aphrodite is because it is the co-creation between the original energy and energies, it's more than one, and humans. There are some others that the original energy created themselves without humans, and that's for a different time. That's going to get more complicated. But that's why people are more open to the archetypes, because they are not from that culture. And they said that basically what has happened with humans is that they do not co-create anymore. They don't make their own versions. They kind of just go on to the next thing when they're finished with it. It's very shallow. It's not to it's not to find out something new and create something new anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that that is why the archetypes are so popular right now with a lot of gods, and they're not the actual gods. Another reason is there used to be devotees that were basically priestesses and beings who spent a lot of time connecting with these gods, and they were the go-to. They would go to a specific temple that had, like, let's say it was the Aphrodite temple, and that person that was anointed there would be in direct contact constantly. And the difference between then and now is that in that process, which I help in my sessions with people to do, is you kind of create your own version. And this is what they do. So here's an example of a person building a bridge with the energy that is specialized with kind of filtering the middleman, the energy, and they know humans and where they're at a lot more. They can think for themselves. They have access to more. So the reason why I talked about being a boss is you can think of when you call a hotline for something to go to customer service and the person you talk to doesn't have access on the computer. They can only do what they can with the amount of things. So imagine those amount of things on the computer that they have access to is basically humans' trends. And that's it. And they can't create anything. It's basically run through the god. So basically a human will want something and the god approves or okays it. And they kind of have to okay everything unless they want to revamp. And that part is complicated. Venus approved a lot of stuff, whereas Aphrodite didn't approve as much stuff. And the reason why is because the trend is basically things like anything that is shallow. So anything that is about, a beauty, cute pink things, or shells that you arrange or do things like that. So it's for those kind of, there are things that, that we don't have a deeper meaning for them. They're just, unless you do. If you do, that's going to be a different thing, and you would probably create your own version. But in this case, they're following what other people have said. So it's like a method, what I call recipes. You need to do this, and this is the blah, 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 and this, and all the rules where they say you need to do this and you need to do that. That is archetype. Because as they say those rules and they carry on those rules, it has nothing to do with what the god and the goddesses would say, because that helps you apply things in everyday life. So they're going to still have some division. They're still going to have opinions. They're still going to be grouchy. Whereas these archetypes are almost like, you can think of it like stationery or art supplies. They're just there. Or the parts that you would get for a recipe or for a spell. Like, they're just little pieces. They're almost like, they show me a mirror over and over again. It's like a mirror of the god. And like I said, it's that process. Now let's talk about the humans that the gods, when they get frustrated, like Aphrodite, what they do. So we all, especially in this time, I won't get into this. It's something that, again, if you're interested in, just like mention and be like, oh, what was that? Or even on a live, we can talk about it. But basically there's this thing that happens where there are these people that get in touch with their original energy. And when I didn't know as much, I thought that it was only a few people, but actually everyone can. I thought that it was like going to be really hard. It was going to take a lifetime, but actually everyone can. And it's because of the changes, like I said, I could talk more about later, the changes with the space on Earth. Like before the changes, the new Earth of more energy on Earth, it was, you had to be born and kind of made that way, and rearrange your anchor on Earth. And it had to be like a specific thing and a setup. Now everyone can do that. So that's what comes next. When they're channeling on accident or on purpose, they will be approached. They will be approached in a unconscious way when they're talking to people or when they're creating, and they will be sharing things that are from the original god. Like and follow for more.